Christian Family Counseling, compassionate Christian care.
Hi, I'm Dr. Brandon Hayes, psychologist at Christian Family Counseling. Today I'm going to be talking to you about some of the issues that can come with the returning home process from war. We're going to be talking about this for several reasons. One of the reasons is that we know that many of the experiences that people have when they're serving in a war situation are definitely so unusual that there's little that people can do to really be adequately prepared. We know that some recent information that has been released by the military has suggested that upwards of 60, 70, even 80% of people have experienced events that we might consider to be traumatic. They might have been shot at, maybe they have received incoming fire, or maybe they've even seen these kinds of things happen to other people. And we know that there are certain suggestions and certain ways that we can help people and also families with this adjustment process, given that the difficulties often can affect not just the individual, but also that individual's family. So now we're going to be talking about some of the most common issues experienced by people who are returning home from war. One of the first issues relates to people's expectations. Oftentimes, people who are in the service do have some mixed feelings about returning home. While they do certainly have some excitement and anticipation of meeting their family members or friends with whom they haven't met with for a while, they also might have some concern or maybe even some worry about what's going to happen to the people who they've been serving with who are still stationed overseas. Another common issue that we often notice is that people have the expectation that things are going to be almost exactly the same as they were before they had left. And the fact is, life back at home does not stop or does not stand still just because you had left. So oftentimes when people return home, they notice that things are quite a bit different than they had thought, or certainly that they were before they had left. Another one of the issues that we notice is that people sometimes struggle to find out, where do I fit in? As I had just mentioned, life does not stop rolling along when the service person is absent. So as a result, the spouse remaining at home or maybe even other family members have pitched in and they've developed some new routines. So when the service person comes home, they might wonder, well, where do I fit in? Does my family even need me anymore? And you just kind of begin to wonder, where do I fit in, and is my presence here really that necessary? Next, we're going to be talking about some of the barriers that get in people's way of getting the necessary help. One of the most common barriers that we notice is that people are afraid of the consequences of asking for help. They might be afraid of what happens if this information gets into my military record. Is it going to affect my ability to get a promotion? Am I going to be somehow discharged from the military, or maybe even limit any kind of security clearances that I might have? One of the other common barriers that we notice has to do with people's general uncertainty about, how do I get help? Where do I get help? Or where do I even find out how to get this kind of information? Well, one really useful resource that is available is Military One Source. It's a website, and it's designed for people who are active in their military service or for their family members or spouses. And it has links to all different kinds of mental health and other resources that are available. And it's certainly one organization listed on the Military One Source website is Christian Family Counseling. We offer the kinds of services that are helpful for people in their adjustment process, and also accept the kind of insurance that is offered to people who are currently serving in the military. And some of the service that we offer are actually be covered at no cost to the person, him or herself. The final thing that we're going to be talking about today has to do with a couple of general suggestions or general strategies of how to make this transition process go as smooth as possible. The first general suggestion is just to take things slow. It's a good idea not to try to schedule 5,000 welcome home parties. It's a good idea to try to not make any big financial or big life decisions within the first couple of weeks or maybe even the first couple of months. And take time just to be thankful for the things that you do have, as opposed to maybe focusing on what has changed or what is different. And also working to get into a good routine or to a schedule. Try to get back into a good routine of going to worship services. Trying to get into a routine of work schedules and also just other life events. Structure and having a schedule is generally a pretty good thing. Now, if you are a service member who has a family, here are a couple of additional suggestions, a couple of additional strategies. One is really trying to get some alone time, some one-on-one time with each member of the family. This will really help facilitate and help foster that reconnection, that reunion process. Another aspect is really just to try to kind of be an observer at first. You don't have to come back into the family and try to change things right away. You don't have to make suggestions. Kind of ease your way back into the situation. And also just being available, being present. Your presence and the amount of time that you spend together will often really help other people in the family get more comfortable with you and also get more acclimated and accustomed to you being there. If you do have any additional questions or if you would like some additional help, please contact us at Christian Family Counseling. Our contact information will be provided to you at the end of this video, and we certainly would wish you well in your adjustment process, and God bless.
Christian Family Counseling, compassionate Christian care.